What's good, WWE 2K fans? It's your boy Jay, aka Darkchild80. Welcome back to the channel. Now today I kind of want to talk about some of the things that I'm hoping to see in WWE 2K19. As you guys know, we just got past the roster reveal. I don't know how you guys might feel about that. I'm pretty sure some people are, okay. Some people are kind of like, where's Tommaso Ciampa? All of that good stuff. But anyway, you know what I'm saying? We just recently learned that a lot of the top WWE 2K content creators got a chance to go out to the Performance Center, man, and kind of see what's good with the game. So what I thought I would do instead, since I ain't get invited, but now I decided to just go ahead and kind of compile a list of sorts of maybe the top 10 things that I am hoping to see in this year's game. So I call it wishful thinking. So that's what we're going to go with the series. We're going to call it wishful thinking because that's pretty much what I'm doing right now. I'm just hoping that some of these things make it into the game. So anyway, without further ado, man, let's go ahead and jump into my wish list of sorts. So coming in at the number 1 spot is going to be advanced position feeding. Yes, simply put, we need a way to be able to control or at least manipulate the way in which certain moves are sold. Now, the first thing that comes to mind with this is Finn Balor's shotgun dropkick. We all know how it plays out. He usually hits the sling blade, and then the opponent just kind of gets into position himself in the corner, and then Finn, he retreats, and then he runs and delivers the shotgun dropkick. Unfortunately, that's not how things play out in the game, and it ends up being really tedious having to kind of piece together your own little spots when, it would be so much more beneficial if, those kind of things could happen organically. So we need a way to be able to tell the game yes, I want to make the opponent set up in the corner so that I can deliver this move. I think this essentially would give matches a more realistic flow, and it just kind of breaks that tedium, of players having to set up everything on their own, kind of, like I said, breaking the match flow and, just making everything kind of look choppy, if you know what I mean. All right, so coming in at number 2 is going to be updates to the drag and carry system. Basically just more drag and carry move variety, add some of the old stuff, like the choke slam from the old games. You could do it, throwing the gorilla press slam, choke lift, things like that. And also moves from different positions, behind. So if you want to maybe pull out a carry move from behind, you can do the electric chair drop position, atomic drop, stuff like that. Even grounded would be kind of awesome, where you can pick an opponent up straight from the ground and into a carry move. New drag positions as well. How they have the kind of the walk the dog position. That would be awesome to throw in there. That way you can kind of place opponents across the middle ropes without having to first sit them up, throw them in the ropes, or drag them over to the ropes and then reposition them. Just kind of let us be able to segue into different positions without having to go through all the steps. Eliminate some of those steps in there. There's also, I would like to see move transitions from the drag, much like you could do with the carry. You should be able to directly go into moves from the drag system. So if you're dragging somebody by their legs, you should be able to just go directly into a submission or something like that. That would be so awesome. Having somebody like a Bret Hart or somebody, you're dragging by the legs, and then you got a finisher. Just go ahead and slap them in the sharpshooter once you got them in the middle of the ring, instead of having to let go and then initiate your moves. And also use this for positional purposes as well. So if I have somebody up in a powerbomb carry, if I walk to the corner, I should be able to place them on the top turnbuckle without having to, get them down and then whip them into the corner and then place them on a top rope. Like I said, it's just really a lot of eliminating steps. I think that would do this system well. And it's one last thing, I find kind of funny. It's I love that they incorporated the ability to be able to do finishers out of this, the drag and carry. But what about those defensive guys? I think it would be like so awesome, like if you take Mr. Out of nowhere, Mr. Randy Orton, like just say you have him up like in a, I guess, a F5 kind of position, and you're walking around with him. If you take too long and like your opponent has a stored finisher, he should be able to hit that and then like deliver a RKO like just kind of out of nowhere, like from a defensive position. So that way it would kind of deter players from just kind of abusing the drag system, just kind of walking around. You might want to think about it before you actually, I guess, go strutting around with somebody on your shoulders or whatever. And another sick move would be like, just say if you got somebody like a Kalisto and you have him like in a rear waist lock and you're trying to drag him around, maybe hoping to like hit him with a German suplex, but instead he hits you with the Salida del Sol, man. That would be sick, man. So, it's just stuff like that I would love to see them implement into like the drag and carry system. It's so much more, but like just stuff like that, just to give you a idea of like how awesome this system could be, how much it could advance. Coming in at number 3 is going to be weapons. Now, weapons have kind of been a sore spot in this series for quite a while now. Because there's nothing has really changed. I get, they made a couple of changes to like the tables and like ladders and stuff can only be set up in certain positions. All of that, that's fine and well. But I'm talking about more so, chairs and stuff like that. Just things that striking weapons, I guess, if you want to give it a name. I think a lot of those need to be incorporated into your moveset, meaning give those weapons like their own moveset. That way we can kind of pick and choose what attacks we want to do. I don't want everybody to have the same attacks. Like, Triple H wouldn't use a sledgehammer in the same way, that a lot of people would. He's more advanced with it. So I would like the game to reflect that, but as it stands now, it's like everybody does the same exact grapples and everything. It's not a lot of variety. So I think just adding a lot of striking weapons, even tables and stuff, which tables are already in there, but ladders, like at least the big 3 tables, ladders, and chairs. I think that those should be have their own move set, so that way you can kind of pick what kind of moves that you want to do from a striking standpoint. Like I said, I think ladders have, you can do move off the ladders, the OMGs and stuff like that. But as far as actual strikes, man, the old games used to be so much better when it came to stuff like this. That is one thing, like anybody will tell you. Anybody that knows me, they know, I am a advocate for simulation style gameplay, but the one of the things I'll say that I absolutely loved about the old games was the weapon impact, like in how it just looked vicious, and secondly, just like the amount of things that you could do with weapons in the old games. Like now we don't really, like I said, we don't really have a lot of variety. Like striking weapons like quick and strong attack, maybe hold the button down for the strong attack, and if you just want to do a quick strike with a weapon, just tap the button. That would be useful. Being able to set chairs up in certain positions and do that. Like I said, we could do some of this stuff in the old game, but it's not so much now. And also, weapon, like I said, acknowledging, like if you slam somebody on a chair or something, that should be acknowledged. But the game doesn't really acknowledge that. It doesn't reflect any damage, or like, the commentary team doesn't really say anything about it. It's just kind of like, yeah, you know it, but it's like the game doesn't know it. Those are just some of the things that could really help weapons out. And adding a weapon wheel, or being able to just decide what weapon you want to get. I think it sucks that, you have to go all the way like into the crowd fighting area just if you want to put somebody through a table. Not an announced table, but just like a regular table. When you see guys like the Dudley Boys, they would pull tables from under the ring all the time. We should have access to all of that stuff. Up next is going to be submission wrestling and just the overall gameplay of submission wrestling. Now, we all see that we got the cover star AJ Styles. We got the Woo edition with Ric Flair. We got Miss Ronda Rousey coming in with a pre-order. And then we got the showcase for Daniel Bryan. Now, what do all these people have in common? They all have a submission finisher. At least one of their finishers is a submission move. So I think it would be tragic if there's no improvements to the submission system. I mean, it's like, talk about a wasted opportunity. As far as the mini game itself, I mean, it's not perfect, but it's fine with me. That's not what I'm so much concerned with. For me, it is like pretty much how little that like crawling, trying to reach the ropes plays a part in submissions. Like I say, I don't know if it's like 2K. I don't know if they just don't get it, or I don't know what it is, but I'm like, they don't seem to realize that like over 90% of like submission attempts are broken up by crawling to the ropes. Think about that though. Like seriously, if you look at a match, like a majority of like submission matches, like I said, I would really be willing to bet over 90% of those submissions are broken by the person crawling to the ropes, actually grabbing the ropes. That's another huge oversight. And that's usually the way that submissions are broken up. But on this game, I mean, it's pretty much more of a, either you power out or you don't. I mean, I think that doesn't really represent a simulation style submission system, I mean, for a wrestling game. So, I mean, that is one of the key things that I would say that, man, they really need to focus on, just making it look realistic and like giving us that feel, man, that like, I mean, I want to feel like that I'm in a struggle when it comes to submission. I want to try to struggle to get to the ropes and, try to reach out and grab them and hope, to break the submission. Bring back the freaking 5 count, man. Like, how are you missing these things? This is one of the things that are like so frustrating with these games, because it seems like some of the little things that are missing, I mean, really just hurts the overall product, man. I mean, it's like, just somebody, just as a wrestling fan, it's like, it's hard to not notice that. Okay, so moving on from the submission system, we are going to jump right into limb damage and the role that it plays, or should I say the lack thereof. This is just one of those features I feel there's honestly is like outside of, like I say, submission wrestling and trying to get someone to tap out. I feel like it is an empty feature. I mean, there is really no upside or downside to, I guess, either accumulating limb damage or, actually, I guess, inflicting a bunch of it on your opponent. I mean, it doesn't seem like it matters one way or the other, like I said, outside of getting them to tap out maybe a little faster. But other than that, I mean, I don't really see what it's used for. I mean, and that's sad because this feature could be so much better. I mean, just if we take it into context of like, what limb damage actually means and what it usually, like the effects that it has on a match, that could be so awesome if they could incorporate that somehow. But I mean, like I said, right now as it stands, it's just a shell feature. It's empty. Going off that, I mean, what I would like to see out of this feature is, I mean, just better selling. I mean, I feel like if you accumulate a bunch of limb damage, I mean, the gameplay should change somewhat for you. Like, so if you're the victim of, a severely hurt leg or something like that, I mean, how about allowing it to affect your running, your climbing, stuff like that, kicks? I mean, all of that stuff should be affected. I mean, I would like, if I got a badly damaged leg and I super kick somebody, I mean, I should collapse over in pain as well, because I have a badly damaged leg. It makes sense. It should be harder to lift people. Maybe having them randomly collapse sometimes or something like that, trying to lift someone. I mean, and that goes for a lot of different body parts. I think, like, depending on the body part, I mean, it should be different debuffs or whatever you want to call it, penalties I mean, that maybe just lasts for a short period of time. So, I mean, just something like, to give the system some relevance, man. I mean, because like I say, right now it is useless. I mean, like, and it hurts the limb targeting system. I mean, like, why even use it? I mean, if there are really no benefits to like targeting limbs. I mean, like if you're not a submission wrestler, I mean, what's the point of it? So, I mean, in limb damage in terms makes, like I said, the limb target irrelevant. I mean, I feel like if you gave limb damage like a true meaning and purpose, then like I said, I mean, so you breathe life into the limb targeting system. I mean, it's as simple as that. They kind of go hand in hand. All right, so up next is going to be chain wrestling. This is a feature I think that is awesome. Like at the surface, I really do. I'm glad they, implemented this a few years back, but it could stand for some upgrades. And case in point, I mean, it's one of those things where it just feels like everybody does the same thing. Now you do have those awesome little, I guess, exceptions to the rule, like when you have the Shinsuke Nakamura stuff when he used to kind of taunt. But it's not enough for that, man. We need more of that. We need more variety when it comes to chain wrestling. Like I said, because the most blaring issue is not everybody chain wrestles the same. Like you take a guy like Pete Dunne, he's more of a, like they call him the bruiserweight. I mean, so he does a lot of, limb work and, just really grimy and just rugged kind of chain wrestling. Whereas, somebody like a Ricochet is, more finesse. I mean, and it's like, quick and it just like, chains very well together. So I would like to see chain wrestling, kind of cater more to a wrestler's fighting style. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to see two big guys like a Braun Strowman and a Big Show sitting there, exchanging headlocks or stuff like that. No, I want to see them do like a test of strength or something like that. I mean, that's something that's more tailored to both of them because they're both powerful guys, big, strong guys. So stuff like that. I mean, maybe the immovable object stuff where like each guy takes a turn bouncing off the ropes, trying to knock the other one down. We need more chain wrestling stuff like that, man. I mean, even brawls. I mean, like a Stone Cold. I mean, not saying he can't get technical and all that, but, he's more of a brawler. So, yeah, I would like to see him, just say like him versus a John Cena or something, like where they both like, kind of brawl. Yeah, like have them throw hands, man. I mean, I don't want to sit there and see them, roll around on the ground, trying to, like I said, get the other person in a headlock or something. No, I want to see them, throw blows back and forth, to try to gain advantage. All right, and coming in the number 7 spot is going to be reversals. I just feel like reversals need more variety, just for lack of a better term. I mean, they really do. Maybe even possibly go back to a 2-button reversal system. I mean, I'm not necessarily sure if that's necessary, but I would like to have more control over, how I reverse things. Like if I just want to simply do like a dodge, or if I want to do a counter, like, or something like that, like evade, I want to be able to reverse how I want to. That way I can kind of set up moves how I want to. I mean, so if I like want to do a go behind maneuver into like a back finisher or something like that, I should be able to do that. I mean, instead of the game just kind of deciding what kind of reversal that I'm going to do for me. No, I mean, give us back that control, man. I mean, I think that's one of the best aspects of a game is to give the player, more control over what happens instead of just leaving it to chance. Like a reversal system, I think I would love to see is like maybe map it to like the face buttons. So like whatever button you press, like that's what kind of reversal that you'll do. So I guess if you, press the grapple button, like if you time it right and you press it during a reversal window, like you would do a counter grapple. If you press the strike button, then you'll hit a strike. Just something simple as that. Maybe like use the old reversal button as like I said, a dodge or a escape. or something like that. I mean, I just feel like I said that we just really need more variety and more options, more freedom to do things the way that we want to with reversals. And number 8 is going to be short and sweet. Simply women's career mode. I think it's been about time. A few games ago, but hey, yeah, it definitely now. I feel like with, women having so many, just milestones, just hitting so many milestones lately, man. I mean, first ever women's Royal Rumble, Mae Young Classic, all of that, man. I mean, it's time for a women's career mode. So go ahead and make that happen, 2K. All right, coming in at number 9 is going to be match tactics. A lot of these come from like a lot of the old games. You remember like when you used to could, I guess, decide if you want to shake hands at the beginning of the match, if you wanted to taunt, if you wanted a cheap shot, stuff like that, man. I mean, that really needs to make a return back in the game. Ref shield, arguing with the ref, playing possum, just to name some of the things, I mean, because I feel like it really adds more depth to the game, and it allows you to kind of be the character that you want to be. Especially like stuff like, when it comes to my career, I mean, I want to be able to play the game how I want to play. I mean, like, you may say like a wrestler's a heel, but there are different kinds of heels. I mean, they're scary kind of heels, they're always running, from opponents and doing things like that. And then there's like the aggressive, heartless kind of heels, like a Tommaso Ciampa, so I don't know. I mean, I just feel like we need more of that kind of stuff in the game so we can kind of, I guess, have the tools to be the kind of wrestler that we want to be. And then at number 10 is going to be an in-depth AI logic that's editable. Basically just stealing a page from the Fire Pro Wrestling book. I mean, I absolutely love just how in-depth you can go with create character creation and just setting up their logic to even simple things, just as such as like what they'll do if you're on the outside. Like, will they dive or will they try to rest, or stuff like that is so freaking awesome, man. I mean, and it is something that, like, if it was in the 2K series, I mean, I think it would go a long way to break up that, I guess, the AI monotony, like how a majority of them kind of act the same way regardless of character traits or whatever it may be. I mean, I would like to just see more of that and to see them go more in depth with that. I mean, so just say if we do want to change a wrestler like from a heel to a face or something, like, naturally we have to edit the logic, for him to, I guess, maybe do certain things differently. I mean, just give that kind of stuff purpose and just like really go in depth with it. Cause I mean, like I said, I would love to see that, and just to see what effects that it would have on the overall gameplay. So anyway, that's going to do it for this video, man. Like I said, if you made it to the end, cause this is a long one, like I said, I truly, truly appreciate it. I do have more of these to come. I'm probably just going to break them up a little bit by, different things. So I'm pretty sure you noticed I didn't say anything about MYCAREER or the universe mode, which I think I'll make those like their own separate videos. But anyway, like I said, I do appreciate y'all for rocking with me, man. Until next time, I'll holler at y'all later.